The Al-Assad family has ruled Syria since Hafez al-Assad became President of Syria in 1971 and established an authoritarian government under the control of the Ba'ath Party. After his death in 2000, his son Bashar succeeded him. The Assads are originally from Qardaha, just east of Latakia in northwest Syria. They are members of the minority Alawite sect and belong to the Kalbiyya tribe. The family name Assad goes back to 1927, when Ali Suleiman changed his last name to Al-Assad, which means the lion in Arabic, possibly in connection with his social standing as a local mediator and his political activities. All members of the extended Assad family stem from Ali Suleiman and his second wife Nasa, who came from a village in the Syria mountains. Family connections continue to be important in Syrian politics. Several close family members of Hafez al-Assad have held important positions in the government since his rise to power and continuing after his death. Origin: the Assad family originates from Suleiman al-Warish, Hafez Assad's grandfather, who lived in the northern Syrian mountains in the village of Qardaha. The locals reportedly nicknamed him Warish, which means wild beast in Arabic, because he was physically strong and a good fighter. Al-Warish remained the family name until the 1920s, when it was changed to Al-Assad, which means lion in Arabic. Because of Suleiman's reported strength and marksmanship, he was respected in his village. At the outbreak of the World War I, the Ottoman governor of the Aleppo Vilayet sent troops to the area to collect taxes and round up recruits. The troops reportedly were fought off by Suleiman and his friends, who were only armed with sabers and old muskets. Because Suleiman was respected, he was a local mediator between quarreling families. He was also one of the local chieftains who were the de facto rulers of the area. The chieftains from the powerful families would provide protection to the neighbors, and in return they gained loyalty and respect. Hafez al-Assad's father Ali Suleiman al-Assad, who was born in 1875, inherited many similar characteristics of his own father and became well respected among the locals. For his accomplishments, he was called Al-Assad, the lion, by the locals. He made his nickname a surname in 1927. He lived until 1963, long enough to see his sons rise to power. He married twice and over 3 decades had 11 children. His first wife Sada was from the district of Hafez. They had 3 sons and 2 daughters. His second wife was Nasa, 20 years younger than him. She was the daughter of Uthman Abad from the village of Kutlba, a dozen kilometers further up the mountain. They had a daughter and 5 sons. Hafez was born on the 6th of October 1930 and was the 4th child. Hafez's family. Hafez al-Assad. Hafez al-Assad, President of Syria 1971 to 2000. Fatma Maklouf, wife of Hafez and First Lady. Bashar al-Assad died as an infant before 1960. Bashar al-Assad is a pharmacist and married with 5 children too. Gen. Asef Shawkat was Deputy Chief of Staff of the Syrian Army and the former head of military intelligence. He was killed on the 18th of July 2012 in a bombing in Damascus during the Syrian civil war. Bashar is reported to have fled to Abu Dhabi with her children following this. Bashar al-Assad was the original candidate for presidential succession, however, he died in a car accident. Bashar al-Assad is the president of Syria since 2000. Before Bashar's death he was an ophthalmologist. He is married to Asma al-Assad. She is the First Lady of Syria and takes a prominent public role. Before being married she was an investment banker. They have 3 children. Majd al-Assad was an electrical engineer with a reported history of severe mental problems. Died after a long, unspecified illness. He was married to Ayub and had no children. Al-Assad is the commander of the Republican Guard, which are also known as the Presidential Guard, and the Army's elite 4th Armored Division, which together with Syria's secret police formed the core of the country's security forces. He is also a member of the Ba'ath Party's Central Command and is said to have an aggressive and uncontrollable personality. He is married and has 2 daughters. He is reported to have been severely handicapped in a 2012 bombing in Damascus during the Syrian civil war. Hafez's siblings: Jamil Al-Assad. Jamil Al-Assad, parliamentarian and commander of a minor militia, politically marginalized years before his death. Jamil Al-Assad was arrested in 2005 at the Beirut airport while entering Lebanon. He was reported to have been involved in arms smuggling to the Iraqi insurgents. In 2011, the EU placed sanctions on him for being involved with the Qardaha militia in the repression of protesters during the Syrian civil war. Fawaz al-Assad was the first real Qardaha and gave the meaning known today to the word Qardaha and the concept of tashbih, that is to act like a thug. He had sanctions placed on him in 2011 by the EU for being involved with the Qardaha militia in the repression of protesters during the Syrian civil war. One daughter is married to Yarab Kanaan, whose father is Ghazi Kanaan, who in 2005 during his term as interior minister presumably killed himself. The Kanaans come from the Kalbiyya tribe. Rifat al-Assad. Rifat al-Assad, formerly a powerful security chief and commander of the defense companies, who was responsible for the 1982 Hama massacre, after attempting a coup d'etat in 1987, he went into exile in France and now lives in London. He is married with 4 wives. Amira al-Assad, a cousin Fatma Maklouf, from the family of Hafez's wife Raja Barakat, from a wealthy Sunni Damascene family. Lina al-Kaya, sister-in-law of the late Saudi King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. Rifat has a number of children from these marriages, including Ribal al-Assad has lived abroad since he was 9 years old. Currently he lives in the United States. In an interview in 2010, he denied that his father was involved in the massacre of Hama or that his family's branch was connected to Abdul Halim Qardaha. Ghazi Kanaan, Samar al-Assad, supports his father actively in his opposition to Bashar. Lamia is married to Ayla al-Fayyad, the son of Shafiq al-Fayyad. Muda al-Assad is married to May Haidar, daughter of the Syrian multimillionaire Mohammed Haidar. Tumadir is married to Muin Nasif Kerbek, also from the Kalbiyya tribe and related to Mohammed Nasif Kerbek, who is indirectly related by marriage and blood to Abd al-Halim Qardaha, Rafiq Hariri and the influential Homs al-Attasi family. Shalish family. Sister of Hafez al-Assad, married into the Shalish family. The family through paternal cousin General Du al-Himma al-Shalish maintains a significant level of influence in the Bashar al-Assad government. The Shalishes are mainly active in the automobile and construction sectors. American government sources also report that the Shalish family has engaged in a wide range of illicit activities, including smuggling and money laundering. Du al-Himma Shalish, a cousin of Bashar al-Assad, is the head of presidential security and is part of the inner circle of leadership of the Bashar al-Assad government. He had sanctions placed on him by the U.S. government for supplying weapons to Saddam Hussein and his government. On the 24th of June 2011, the EU sanctioned him for being involved in violence against demonstrators during the Syrian civil war. ASEF Isa Shalish nephew of him is the manager of Hafez, a company that was involved in the weapons trade with Iraq and Iran. Riyad Shalish is a cousin of Bashar Assad and the director of the governmental construction organization the Military Housing Establishment, which during the 1990s he managed to transform into his own company. He made a fortune on construction and contracting deals in Syria involving large-scale projects financed by other Arab states. On the 24th of June 2011, the EU sanctioned him for providing funding to the regime to repress protesters of the Syrian civil war. Ahmed Al-Assad was an older half-brother of Hafez al-Assad from Ali Suleiman's first wife Saada. Anwar al-Assad Hilal al-Assad was the president of the Syrian Arabian Horse Association. Hilal was killed on the 22nd of March 2014 in the battle for a border crossing with Turkey in the north of Latakia. Suleiman al-Assad, Hilal's son, was arrested in August 2015 after allegedly murdering an off-duty colonel in a road rage incident in Latakia. Hilal al-Assad is the head of the military police of the Army's 4th Armored Division, whose official commander is General Ali Mar, but whose de facto commander is Mar al-Assad. He is also the director of the prison in which Mar al-Assad keeps his personal prisoners outside of state jurisdiction. Harun al-Assad is an elected municipal official of the village of Qardaha. Al-Assad is married to General Zuhair al-Assad, who was born in 1958 and is a distant cousin. General Zuhair al-Assad commanded the 90th Regiment, a unit of some 10,000 men, charged with protecting the capital. Karam al-Assad leads a group of Shabia. He and his group of Shabia led an assault against the peaceful protests during the Night of Destiny. The assault ended in 2 deaths and dozens injured. Ibrahim al-Assad was an older half-brother of Hafez al-Assad from Ali Suleiman's first wife Saada. He was married to Anwar, who took over the smuggling business of her son Malik. Malik al-Assad was the first known smuggler in the Assad family. About Hafez's siblings who died early, Ba'ath Party.After and an unknown sister, almost nothing is known. Anis's siblings. Makhlouf family. The Makhloufs belong to the Alawite tribe. Both Hafez and Rifat are related through marriage to the Makhloufs. The Maklouf family rose from humble beginnings to become the financial advisor to Hafez al-Assad after the former president married Makhlouf's sister. The family headed by Mohammed Makhlouf has established a vast financial empire in the telecommunication, retail, banking, power generation, and oil and gas sectors. The net worth of the family was estimated in 2010 to be at least $5 billion. Mohammed Makhlouf made a fortune, both through management of state companies and in the private sector. Rami Makhlouf is a wealthy businessman and the main owner of Syria.They. According to the Financial Times, he is thought to control as much as 60% of the economy through his web of business interests that include telecommunications, oil and gas, construction, banking, airlines and retail, and he is widely seen as the business arm of the Assad government. American government sources report that Rami Makhlouf has used the Syrian security services and his personal relationship to President Assad to intimidate and steal promising business ventures from other businessmen. He is regarded as Syria's wealthiest man, worth approximately $5 billion. Colonel Hafez Maklouf is the Deputy Director of the General Security Directorate and Intelligence Chief of the Damascus branch. He works under Ali Mamlouk but enjoys far greater influence with his cousin, Bashar al-Assad. He, along with Mar al-Assad, al-Assad, Asef Shawkat and Du al-Himashalish comprised the inner circle of leadership. Iyad Makhlouf, twin of Ahmed Makhlouf, is a General Security Directorate officer. The EU sanctioned him for being involved in violence against the civilian population during the Syrian civil war. Ahmed Makhlouf, twin of Iyad Makhlouf, is Vice President of Syria.They and caretaker for Rami Makhlouf's U.S. company. The EU sanctioned him for providing funding to the Assad government and allowing violence against demonstrators in the Syrian civil war. He is believed to be in charge of the sniper units that are being used to shoot at protesters in the uprising. Fatma Maklouf, sister of Anisa Makhlouf, Atef Najib, is the former head of Political Security Directorate in Daraa. The EU sanctioned him for being involved in violence against demonstrators in the Syria civil war. General Adnan Makhlouf, first cousin of Anisa, former commander of the Republican Guard. Hafez's cousins, Jamil Al-Assad, reportedly established with Rifat al-Assad in the 1980s the Qardaha, who controlled the organized smuggling networks, anchored in Latakia's port. Adnan al-Assad, leader of struggle companies militia in Damascus. Mohammed al-Assad, another leader of the struggle companies. He was killed in a dispute with a powerful person over control in the Al-Qardaha area of Latakia province on March 14, 2015. Shafiq Fayyad, cousin of Hafez from his aunt in the village of Ain al-Aras in Jabla, commander of the 7th Mechanized Infantry Division 1973–78, commander of the 3rd Armored Division since 1978, reportedly incapacitated in 1991–92 due to a heart attack. Bashar describes him as an Army Corps general. Other relatives: Jamil Al-Assad, second-degree cousin of Hafez's children, led the Qardaha in Latakia. Nizar al-Assad is a cousin of Bashar al-Assad. He was the head of the Nizar Oilfield Supplies Company. He was sanctioned by the EU for being very close to key government officials and for financing Qardaha in the region of Latakia.